Love. Day 30. Y'all, 10 days to go. We made it. We almost at the end. Okay. Day 30. I do want to say thank you all so much. Um, I had every intention of coming in last night and teaching. And my kids, usually we do Saturday suppers and we're done by 8. I have plenty of time to come in and do things I need to get done for the meet. But we chose to go out to dinner and grab some friends. Our usual Saturday supper crowd. But it ended up being 10 of us last night because my daughter was calling people. And she's like, "Hey, you want to go? Hey, you want to go? You want to go? You want to go?" So and then we went to this place where they will not seat you until your whole party is there. And it was very busy last night. And so we really did not get home until about 15 minutes prior to the time. And then we were having a deep family discussion that just could not be, I couldn't put it off. So I was like, let me grab from last year. I hope you all were able to catch it. Those of you who did chime in last night. Typically, I think last year I didn't miss any days. Even if I had to go live later, I still did it. Hey, everybody. Good to see you all. But I just chose to do that last night. And I think I missed one other night. I think I was sick one night. Maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe I think I've only missed 2 nights. I know I had a procedure one night that I was unable to do anything. Well, I had it that morning. Really, Brenda Ann? And now we got a chorus in the background. Anybody want to? Brother, give me this. Give me this. Anybody need a Chewini? Anybody? Anybody need a Chewini? Y'all let me know because she ship out. Told Jackson to come get his daughter. His daughter is still here with me. Okay. So, anywho, I do apologize, but I thank y'all for being understanding. And the wait was so long, and then the service was so long. We should have been out of there way before we were. It just took a long time. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to recap your day for today. We're gonna prep for tomorrow, which is the 31st day. Y'all, somebody tell me if I'm right. Am I on the 31st day? Let me see. There's 31 days. We started on the 6th, so that's 25, 6 to 7, 28, 29. Yes, so we're prepping. Am I a day ahead, y'all? Six. Let me count. Today is the 30th day. Very good. Okay. So we're going to recap day 30, prep day 31, and I'm going to briefly skim day 32. Tomorrow night, we will not have a session. Tomorrow night's session will be a private ladies only session for day 32 to prep you ladies for 32. Men, you're on your own. Got to read it yourself. But if you want a invite to the session for tomorrow night, you must email me because I will not send out the link any other way. So that is my email address. If you want an invite to that session, I already have a couple ladies that have emailed me. So if you want to be included in that session, now what that session will entail are we're going to go deep into the pages of 32, which talk about love meets intimate needs. And then we're going to talk about strategies, overcoming some of our anxiety. Some women have anxiety in this area, especially church women. We're going to talk about meeting the needs that we've heard our husband talk about, and just some thoughts on how we could do that, how we could add a little spice to what we already got going on. And if we don't got nothing going on, how to get it going on. But that is a very closed session. I do not do that session live. If you want an invite to that, you need two things, an email and a picture, because I need to know who is showing up, is who is showing up. Also, you will need to keep your camera on, because I can't have any craziness happening in my background. I don't need people trying to sneak in. I don't need no bots. I don't need anybody. So if you want a link, send me an email with your picture attached, and you have to keep your camera on, because I need to make sure that who is there is there. Okay. Now, there will not be anything inappropriate, and I will ask only married ladies to request that session, because I cannot tell you, I can't give anybody permission to do day 32 that is not married. You do what you want to do, but I'm going to craft this for married women, since that is the premise which I live by and what the book is based on. So that's what I'm saying. Some days, single women, that it just doesn't pertain to us. I can learn things and keep those in my memory bank for later. But I'm talking about the people who will actually be participating in 32. Then we will just kind of give a little bit of guidance, nothing out of the way, all scriptural, but sometimes people don't, we don't think of things. You're like, oh, I didn't think of that. Okay, very good. All right, day 30, because I don't want to be keeping y'all very long. Your dare, love brings unity, was day 30. That was today. It's an attention day. The dare was to isolate one area of division in your marriage and pray about it. Now, most of us think we all together. The Bible tells us in Amos 3:3, how can two walk together lest they be in agreement? And we all think we're in agreement. But start talking about some stuff. Where are you on parenting? Well, I think we should gentle parent. I think we should spank. We're not in agreement. Where are you on politics? Well, I'm on the Democrat. You on the Republican. We're not in agreement. Where are we at about this topic? I think this. No agreement. So we would tell ourselves or try to convince ourselves that just because we marry someone, we're in agreement. We see this quite a lot when parents are trying to figure out which religion their child is going to be. Mama's Jewish, daddy's Muslim. Mama's Christian, daddy's Catholic. There is no agreement on any of that. So that disagreement causes division. That disagreement causes division, and it can. Ask the Lord to reveal anything in your heart that is threatening oneness in your marriage. You can't come together if you don't have agreement. I want to buy a new house. I don't want to buy a new house. Well, I can't buy the new house if you don't sign off to sell the old house. We can't come to agreement. We can't move. What happens when you are in disagreement is that you are really at a standstill. Nothing can move forward. There is no forward progression. And here's what we know about that. If you ever are in a stream, a river, a lake, an ocean, or whatever, water is constantly moving. Even when you can't really see it on the surface, you know that there is what's called an undertow or a drag stream, that something is happening underneath that water. And they'll say, be careful of rushing water, because, you could get dragged under, or whatever the case is, especially because we live at the beach. When the tide comes in, it'll drag you back out very quickly. You need to be out of the water when the tide comes in, because you can't really know what's under here. And so that's very important. You have to have discussions way before the marriage, right? That's what the dating phase is for. That's what the courting phase is for, is really to hash out those disagreements. My sister and I were talking, actually, we were out earlier. We went to see our best friend. She invited us out for lunch. And now I typically don't eat out this much, y'all, but it's my birthday. But I only had a few bites of everything. I brought home a doggy bag. I don't normally bring home a doggy bag, but I figured one of them kids will eat it. I'll take it for lunch tomorrow. But we were talking about the fact, especially dating. One of the things that I hate strongly, I do not appreciate this at all, is, I had done online dating for a while, way back. I have not done anything in that area in over 3 years now, I'm sure. But back, I didn't get out a lot. So I had taken on some online dating, and you'll meet people on the computer, and you're just talking, whatever the case is. If you ever get to the stage or the part where you're talking on the phone, if you get to the part where you actually meet somebody for the first time, here's what I would appreciate. This is a mature response. We go out, and we were having a great time on the phone. It was all good. We actually meet, and I'm not feeling you, or you're not feeling me, or whatever the case is. And then we don't hear anything for days, weeks. My first thought process is, because this is Shakima, this may not be you. I wonder if they got hurt. Think they got hurt? Somebody might, who would let me know if they got hurt? I don't know. Maybe they were in a car accident. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I haven't heard anything. I might have texted, hey, haven't heard from you. Hope you're well. Because in my estimation, the conversation was going good. We enjoyed our dinner together. But in their estimation, there was something that they did not see in me that they wanted to see in their spouse, partner, whatever. The mature thing to do would be to just say, you know what, I appreciate you coming out to dinner with me, but it's not going to work out. It's just, there's no compatibility, whatever the case is. That's mature, right? That, to me, that's maturity. A mature woman or man would say, you know what, I'm just not interested. Thank you so much. I've had people interested in me before, and I'm like, it's going to be a no for me. Their lifestyle was different than mine. The calling of God on my life didn't mesh with what they had going on. They didn't want involvement with my children. Listen, we come together. It is what it is. You can't get me without them. So, maybe we should, but it's said, it's stated, and it's squashed. It's over. It's done. No hard feelings. What did we lose? A meal? I mean, if anything, we enjoyed the fellowship for that one time. We might have gained a friend. I think it would be fine to say that. But to just go ghost and just to disappear on somebody, and then I think a week or 2, 3, 4, 5 later, show back up. Oh, girl, I was just giving you a call. No, you weren't. You better call somebody else. Tyrone is available because Shakima is not. Blocked, delete, hid. Listen. Unless we establish we're going to be friends after this, I'm blocking you. Blocking you blesses me. Thank you, Miss Shirlene. Blocking you blesses me. Look, you about to be blocked. Let me see. Our most recent disagreement with the exact number of boats I agreed to. I said yes to the pontoon and the paddle boat, but he also bought home a speedboat and a rowboat. Oh my goodness. Now they have 4 boats. Wow. Oh my word. But any of those things, there has to be conversations and there has to be agreement. If not, it's going to cause division. And what you don't understand, if you take a shim, when you have a gap in a doorway, right, in a door frame, and you want to fill that gap, you usually put a shim in it, right? Because I need to bridge the gap. Or if I'm trying to get a frame out, I'll take either a something with a sharp edge, put it in between the jamb, and bang, bang, bang to pop it, and it's going to pop off, and you'll be able to get that frame or that piece of baseboard or crown molding or whatever off. So even a little divide, even one little pop, if you leave it long enough, settling over time, somebody bumps into it, it's going to eventually come apart. So division is not meant to keep together. Anytime there's a little crack in the wall, anytime there's a little crack in the armor, anytime there's a little crack anywhere, what's going to happen is that the enemy is going to get in and he is going to wreak havoc on your marriage. And that is not what you want if you are planning long-term longevity of marriage. That may not be your plan. I suggest, this is just me, you don't have to go with this. But if longevity of marriage is not your plan, don't get married. Because the vows say to have and to hold, in sickness and health, and good and poor, and rich and bad, and all that, till death do us part. If you ready to be the dearly departed, let me know. But if not, then I suggest if you have any other thought than longevity, then don't do it. And I'm not just talking about longevity for the sake of being together, but I'm talking about a wholesome, meaningful relationship from the time we say I do until one of us transitions off the face of this earth. Okay, so ask the Lord to reveal anything in your own heart that is threatening oneness in your marriage. Pray that He would open up communication lines so that you can find more agreement and stay on the same page. And if appropriate, discuss the matter openly, seeking God for unity. This is where prayer life is important, because we need to pray over some things. A lot of times people will get into situations. I want kids. He don't want kids. Y'all get married. The next thing you know, y'all are having a disagreement about kids. He's like, but I don't want kids. And you thought in your mind, because you didn't talk to him about it, I can change his mind. No, ma'am, you cannot. A man who doesn't want children, a woman who doesn't want children are the only people who can change their mind. Nothing you say, do, no matter how much money you make, they enjoy the life they are living. It's not, if a kid happens, they are going to see that as drudgery. It's not going to be a joy and a delight, which is what God meant children to be. So you have to be on the same page with your spouse. I want to do this. I want to spend this. I want to make this. I want to buy this. I want to live here. I don't want to live there. You've got to talk about all the things. And if you don't, you're going to run into some problems long term. So that was day number 30. We're going to move into 31, love and marriage. And I did want to read something to you from the Bible. So if you have your Bible, I mean, you may not, you can read it later, but go into Genesis chapter 2, verses 18 through 25. 2 years ago, I believe it was 2 years ago, it could have been 3 by now, but the Lord just gave me a set of scriptures, and these were the scriptures I was supposed to be going over and over and over and over and over again in my head, rehearsing every day. I thought I was going to read the Bible through in a year again, and God was like, nope, you already done that twice, move on. These are the scriptures. And I think He gave me 5 to 7 scriptures that I was supposed to just stand on, believe for, keep quoting, get these scriptures in my spirit. And I was like, okay, wow, let me just focus. If this is what God is saying to me, because I'm a firm believer to do what God says. If this is what God is saying to me about me, for me and my marriage, then I need to get into agreement. So Genesis chapter 2, these are verses 18 through 25, and I'm reading it in the Message. Listen to me if you would. Please, please, please do me a favor. If Bible reading is hard for you, please get a translation that you can understand. I recommend God's Word translation. That's a very easy to read. They even have a version called the easy to read version. Get something you can understand. NLT, the New Living Translation, the Message, which is what I'm going to read it out of, is like straight broken down language. There are no questions about what he's saying. If you King James, rock on, people, but I sometimes just need it in regular everyday language. Genesis chapter 2, verses 18 through 25. God said, "It's not good for man to be alone. I'll make him a helper, a companion." So God formed from the dirt of the ground, all the animals of the field and all the birds of the air. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them. Whatever man called each living creature, that was its name. The man named the cattle, named the birds of the air, named the wild animals, but didn't find a suitable companion. God put the man into a deep sleep, and he slept. As he slept, he removed one of his ribs and replaced it with flesh. God then used the rib that he had taken from the man to make woman, and he presented her to man. The man said, "Finally, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Name her woman, for she is made from man." Therefore, a man leaves his father and mother and embraces his wife. They become one flesh. The two of them, the man and his wife, were naked, but they felt no shame. That was Genesis chapter 2, verses 18 through 25. He starts off this section, which is an attention day, love and marriage. A man shall leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Genesis 2:24. One of the areas, a big area, that marriages tend to struggle with in the very beginning, and if this takes root in the beginning, roots do not like to let go. Sometimes roots will wrap around whatever they're trying to stick to and hold on to. Don't plant mint if you don't want it to take over. And someone told me chives take over. Don't plant these in places that you don't want it to overrun and run wild, because if you do, it will. But one of the areas that people do not deal with when they're getting married are parent relationships, father and mother. When a marriage takes place, even before the marriage, as you're moving into marriage, as you've decided that this person is going to be your person, your number one person. This is going to be your companion. This is going to be your helpmeet. This is going to be your support person, your support system. Then you must deal with your parent relationship. And you must make sure that your parents know that your allegiance has now moved from them to him, or them to her. We have a lot of mama's boys. I was married to a mama's boy. He was an only child and he was a mama's boy. Can I tell you that it caused no short of tension in our marriage because his mother was very opinionated about me. Hated me the whole time we were married. She loves me now that we're not married, but she hated me the whole time we were together. And her word was the word. I didn't have a say, could not have an opinion on things. It was him and her. And then I would say something and it would cause friction and tension between us when it was his responsibility to put his mother in check about what it was with his wife. And it was my responsibility to put my parents, my grandparents, in check about what it was with my husband. Now, my grandparents never said anything about my husband. They never told me anything opposite of my marriage. They never encouraged me to do anything opposite of what he said. They respected who I chose as my spouse. And we never had I never had to go to them in love and say, grandma, grandpa, I'm married to this man now. This is my husband. I'm not choosing y'all over him. A lot of parents will force the child to choose between them and their spouse. And that's wrong. That is not biblical. It is not in here anywhere that your parents retain their role in your life as authority, as a protector, as caregiver. All that shifts to your spouse when you get married. They then step into the role of counselor, guidance, right? And they're guiding both of you, not one of you, because and the two shall become one. So if they're going to say something to him, they need to really say it to both of us, or that counsel is for both of us. It's not just for him. If I was you, I would leave her. She's spending a little bit too much. She doing blah, blah, blah. She doing this. And you know what? She ain't even for you anyway. I don't even know why you married her. Now you have created a situation where this person has to deal with all of your negativity, your thoughts. Now they know that they have displeased you as a parent. And now they got to go home and try to make this right with their wife while they're trying to make you happy. You can't make two women happy. That's why you're only supposed to be the husband of one wife. You can't make more than one happy at a time. You can't take care of more than one at a time. You're going to run into some problems trying to keep these two women, two warring women, away from each other. It just cannot happen. He says in, this is page 151. If you're following along, again, we're doing the Love Dares, the 40 days of love. We are on tomorrow is day 31. So we're going to prep through just day 31, hit day 32 real brief. Tomorrow will be the closed private session for women only. For day 32 prep, you must send me an email. My email is floating somewhere in that chat, and then also a picture. I have to have a picture. It is for ladies only. Let me see. Miss Carla said, I was taught when you get married, you have your own family, parents, siblings, extended family, but you have to do what is best for your family. Ask for advice, but make your own decision. Bless me. Absolutely. And that's the Bible. There's so many family situations where I think this becomes a problem. We're pushing people into marriage. We're pushing people out the house. We're pushing people into roles and positions they're not ready to play. Yesterday, and I was going to actually do a live on this because it didn't hurt my feelings, but I just don't think people think very clearly. So I had someone comment on a YouTube video that I did, and they were talking about Alana, and they said, They were talking about Alana and Jackson. It was like, this woman, she don't want her children to do anything but garden and vlogging and cooking and cleaning, and she just over there teaching them all the things, and she don't want them to ever leave because they are a well-oiled machine, and she doesn't want her daughter to go to college, and she doesn't want her, she's only concerned about her son and his college education, and that daughter's going to be living with her till she's 40 years old. And I was like, oh my, well, indeed, Jesus. Okay. Well, you evidently have not been around very long. I'm so glad. I know you're going to delete this comment. And yes, I am, and block you at the same time. Listen, blocking you. But here's what I'm thinking, even as I'm going through this. There are a lot of people, I got married when I was 19, that are rushing into marriage, right? It's better to marry than to burn. Child, it's better to just, because I got to get it in, whatever the case is, whatever is pushing people into marriage. And we're pushing people into spaces, places, and roles that they're not ready to handle. How? Tell me how. These are questions that I have. How or what does a 19-year-old boy have to offer a 19-year-old girl that he marries? What? He's 1-2 years out of high school, maybe. Back in the day, olden days, he might have been able to get a very good job. But if you look at the statistical marriage success of teenage marriages, it is not very high. If you look at the statistical marriage success of anybody these days, it's not very high. But there's a lot happening in those young marriages. The girls don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They don't know how to garden. They don't know how to budget. All the stuff I'm teaching Alana, but I got accused of being a bad parent for yesterday. They don't know any of those things. They have no money. They got nothing. Boys aren't being taught because the dads are not in the home. Most of them are fatherless homes. Not all, but there's a large majority of fatherless homes. So they're not being taught how to be dads, how to be husbands, how to be men, how to be friends, how to be anything. This is our cultural, societal issues and problems, but we want them to go into this marriage because they want to do things. Okay, great. But they're still dependent upon their parents. Because here's the thing. Let me say this loud and clear. Baby, if you out here listening to this, this is Shakima, and I'm telling you, if you want to marry me and you don't have nowhere to put me, we cannot be married. If you want to marry me and your finances are not together, we cannot be married. If you want to marry me and you are not a good dad to the children that you had with that woman that you was in love with when you was out there doing things that you was doing, we cannot be married. Because I am looking for stability over here. And I'm not looking to walk into any problems because you have to depend on your parents for a place to stay. And you have to depend on your mama to help you take care of your child because she need diapers and your parents have to buy them. So we put a lot of, we still rely on our parents for a lot of things. And therefore they think they have a lot of say in your life. And I agree that while you're still living under their roof, under their authority, yes, they have that say in your life. But when you leave that space and you go to where your husband is, your wife is, you are now a family unit and you must decide what is good for that family. No, Alana does not. It's hard for me to explain it for people to understand. School was very challenging for her. So it was just hard. It didn't come to her easy. We would be up all night crying and all the things. It just wasn't one of the things that she was good at. I'm not saying she's not intelligent. I'm just saying she struggled. That's no different than any of my students who come to school and they just have issues. They struggle. Perfectly fine. So I feel as a mom that it is better for her not to go into a college situation where she has to sit in a classroom where she's going to struggle, that she has to pay for. So it's time, effort, energy, and money, because I don't pay for college, for her to be frustrated and unsure about what she wants to do with her life today. Now, her brother and sister, because I got accused. Well, that's probably why the older two left the house so soon, because they didn't like what you were doing to them. Shamika and Trandon went to the military to serve their country. Shamika left when she graduated, like the month after she graduated high school, and Trandon left in October of the year he graduated to go into the military. After Shamika left the military is when she went to college. She was 24, and Trandon started college when he was 27, because he's 27 now. So he actually finished military, was out for about 2 years, and now he's just going to college now. I think that it is better if you wait until you know what you want to do with your life. And then when you go there, you just off to the races. Oh, how does an educator tell their kid they is not encouraging them to go to school? Because I don't want her to waste time, effort, energy, and money until she is sure what she wants to do. And so that is where we're leaving it. But again, I am the authority in her life. She's a grown, full adult woman. She can do whatever she want to do. But I'm giving her my counsel so that she is not making poor decisions because she is not ready to make those decisions. I'm like, well, I try to tell people, but they don't want to listen. The other thing is, and I thought the Lord brought this to me this morning because it still kind of weighed on me a little bit. I never want my children to feel like I'm depriving them or choosing one over the other. Jackson cannot go into the military. He is medically ineligible to go into the military. If anybody were going to go, it would be Jackson. Jackson is a very highly intelligent kid. He should go into the Air Force and be an officer to make very good money, and then he would be able to go off to college for free, but his medical will not allow that. So college is his thing. He thinking of college last year when he was a freshman. That is on his mind. It is not on sister's mind. She likes to go to her job. She loves to go to her job. Let her do it. So I said, they said she'll live here till she's 40. And I said, well, if she lives here till she's 40, because she's saving all her money and she doesn't have to help me pay my bills, she gonna have enough to buy a whole house in cash, 2-3 more cars in cash, because I don't take any of her money. So why not? And I shared all that to say we're pushing people into roles and places and spaces that they are not ready for, instead of encouraging them to get themselves together, make sure they have something so that when we come together, now we're moving in the same direction. There was a girl, I used to follow her on YouTube. Her name is Kellyanne Smith. And she wanted to marry this gentleman. He asked her to marry him. And they went to his parents to say, hey, we want to get married. They were not engaged at the time. They were just in the dating stage. And the parents said, because they still had authority of that nature in his life, they said, you have too much debt to get married. They didn't say, don't marry her, she raggedy, and her parents is raggedy, and they didn't raise her right. They just said, you have too much debt to get married. Because if you get married now with all that you have, you're going to be looking at us to see if we can help you pay your rent. There's this lady on TikTok. She got about 11 kids, and she living with her mama. Her and her husband living with the mama, and the mama's helping them take care of these children, and she's pregnant again. Ma'am, sir, listen to me. In those instances, when you're leaning and depending on parents to take care of you, they have every right to say everything they want. But you jump too quick. You didn't have all of your ducks in a row in order to be able to get married. Now, Shakima, are you saying I can't get married if I'm trying to make it? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying you got to have something together. You got to have some. I have a place for you to live if you marry me. This is the man to the woman. I have a place for you to live. I have a good job. I have my debt under control, or I'm working towards that. I take care of my children. I have a good relationship with them. And I want you to marry me and come into this. And if she can say the same, get married. But once you get married, then that becomes the sounding board. You got problems, you go to your spouse. You have issues, you go to your spouse. That's why we don't take our problems outside of here, because you're going to have people that are going to give you differing of opinions, and it's going to cause division in your marriage. The Bible tells us in Genesis chapter 2, verses 18 through 25, I made a woman for you. This is the helper that I chose. You gave her a name. Now leave and cleave and go with your spouse. But no. He says in here, leaving means that you are breaking a natural tie. My children are tied to me. When I birthed the child, we were connected through a cord. We were naturally connected. The afterbirth, the sac that they were in, all of that. The baby was connected and mama was connected. There was a severing at that point. That child was placed in my hands and my husband's hands, and it was our job to raise them. Once we've done the raising, cut the cord, let them go. If you raise your children correctly, according to the word, not according to how I do it. I know I'm a different parent than most people. Live your best life. Whatever you and the Lord and your spouse is good with, y'all live with it. But whatever it is you do, you're going to have consequences. So I'm just saying that. But once you raise that child to be a good citizen, love the Lord, their God with all their heart, and like it unto them, love their neighbor as themselves. Once you taught them proper money management, once you taught them how to be a helper, helpmeet, whatever, once you've done all of that, then it is your job to release them into the hands of the one who says, I'm going to care for them. Now, it's not just the man who says, I'm going to care for her. The woman says the same. I'm going to care for him as well. And the two shall become one. That does not just mean in a physical sense. It means we're going to become one in our decision making. We're going to become one in our money spending. We're going to become one in our parenting. We're going to become one in how we view things outside of this household. We're going to become one in our what we tell somebody when they ask us a question. Our opinion is the same. If you ask me, it's the same as if you ask my husband. Don't try to divide us. If you ask me, that's why they'll say, I'm gonna go ask mama, because mama gonna tell. I'm gonna tell you the same. What your daddy said. Did you ask him? Go ask him, because his answer is my answer. That's what this one is. His answers. We are together. There is no division. But see, that takes a mature mind, that takes a mature person, that takes somebody, that takes a parent like me, enough knowledge to understand I've given them everything I had. I've given my children all of my life. Shamika's 33. She'll be 34 years old next month. I've given my children 34 years of my life. It's all I've had. I poured it all into them. Now it's up to you to go out there and live your best. Can you come back and live here? No. Can I pay your bills? Not. Nope. Not going to do it. One of the hardest lessons that I had to learn as a parent of adult children is how to let my children go. Shamika's getting ready to get married. She is getting married in a few months. Woo. And I'm getting a very good son-in-law. I love him. He's very nice. But she's getting ready to get married. I think they've been together 2 years. I don't keep up with people's business. Just tell me what day I'm supposed to be there and when I'm going to be there. So I think it was right at the end of last year. It was right around Christmas time break or whatever. I called a family meeting. And mom, who is the authoritarian, tells the little kids, we're having a meeting. Get on the meeting. My older children, I've had to say to them, hey, y'all, mom's doing a family meeting. I would love for y'all to come. I can't dictate whether they show up or not. They don't live here. They do. Shamika lives all the way across the country. Trina lives halfway across the country, and they get to choose what they want to do. Guess who didn't show up to the meeting? Trandon. He did not show up. He probably was working or whatever the case was. I don't know what he was doing, but he didn't show up. Shamika and Keith did. And I said to them, this is what I'm going to be doing in my finances for next year. Going to be saving some money, got some goals, some things I'm doing. I want to invite you all to join if that's what you want to do. And then I said to both of them, I cannot tell you what to do with your finances. I said, whatever y'all want to do is between y'all. You're getting ready to commingle all your stuff together. You're getting ready to take his last name. Your money decisions are your money decisions. Now, the mom in me wanted to give them all the thing. Let's do this and let's do that and let's. But that is not my responsibility. When they decide they are going to be married, I got to step over here. And if they ask me for my opinion on something, I can give it to them based on what the word of God says. But I have no right, none, to rule their household. They don't have no right to come up in here and rule nothing neither. This is my space, that's your space. And everybody has a mutual respect for one another. If a husband loves his wife and his mama, sister, auntie, cousin, brother, nephew, whomever starts talking crazy about his wife, it is his responsibility to say, hold up, homie, in as the most respectful way as he can. I'm going to have to stop you right there. That's my wife. And I will not have you talking about her that way. She could be everything they're saying, but it's not between them any longer. It's between him. He chose her. Now, if he comes to them and say, listen, mom and dad, hey, this is where we are. Becky and I, we struggling and we just want y'all to give us some sound counsel. We going together. We going to go together. So that way everybody can hear what's being said. Because you got people in your ear. You shouldn't have married in the first place. I told you not to marry anyway. I don't know how you married her. Because her parents ain't nothing. She ain't never going to be nothing. And you ain't going to have nothing because you married her. Now, you felt in your heart it was the right thing to do. Sometimes we come ill-equipped. So I want to just say that leaving is not to abandon all contact with the past, but rather to establish and preserve the unique oneness that marriage is destined to capture. Only in oneness can you become all God means for you to be. I know 100% sure you can't change my mind on this. I promise you this is what the truth is for me. I am as best of life as I'm living right now. I've not reached maximum yield. I've not reached full capacity because I'm still single. But when my husband and I find each other, the word that the Lord gave me was, you'll be in your ministry, he'll be in his ministry. When the two ministries meet, it will be M squared multiplied ministry. I know that there is more for me when I meet the man. But what I cannot do is fight battles that aren't mine. Your parent can't have a say in my life. They can't have a say in your sister can't tell you anything about me and you accept it for truth. If that is the case, if we're going to be a divided family, then why don't you just stay married to them and leave me single? Okay. I'm going to move on. Your dare for tomorrow, which is day 31. Is there a leaving issue with your parent or someone else you haven't been brave enough to conquer yet? Confess it to your spouse today and resolve to make it right. The oneness of your marriage is dependent upon it. Follow this with a commitment to your spouse and to God to make your marriage top priority over every other human relationship. He talks about in here about exes and informers and all them. We have got to deal with those people. Parents, siblings, aunts, grannies, and exes. Any unhealthy relationships, you need to deal with those people and let them know, can I call you sometime? You may not. We will not be having a chitty chat. We will not. And then you need to tell your husband, babe, listen, so-and-so called me today, but I want you to see that I blocked their number. I told them in no uncertain terms, may they call me. They reached out on Facebook and it was in my little DMs. And I just need you to know that I have let them know that they, in no uncertain terms, can they call me any other time. You got to be courageous about that. He does mention in here, if you have a parent issue, that you can write your parents a letter. There's nothing wrong with you sitting down and expressing what needs to be expressed to your parents about guarding your marriage. I love you. I appreciate you. We may come to you as counsel, but our marriage is ours and we're going to do this thing together. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And parents may get mad. There's a lot of moms who did not want their sons to get married to her, not knowing that she could have been the best thing that happened to him. But because y'all had this inward feuding, now he's torn between two people. And a house divided against itself will not stand. He's going to lose somebody, his wife or his mother. And in truth, he doesn't have to lose either of you if people understand the role that they play in the person's life. Now that Shamika is getting married, until she gets married, until the day she says I do and signs that paper, even if they went and got the marriage license, if they have not signed the paper and did the vows, I am her next of kin. If anything happens to her, they're calling me. And I'm making the decision. She doesn't have any children. It is spouse, children, parents. She ain't married. She ain't got no children. All she got is me. But the day she says I do to Keith and they sign on the dotted line, I move now to the bottom of the queue. He gets to decide. I know what she told me her wishes are, but it does not matter. That's her husband. He has her best interests at heart. I know that. I've prayed over her. I have asked the Lord to give her the spouse that she needs, and God has shown up. So what do? I step to the side and I'll allow them to do whatever God has for them to do. It does not hinder my prayer life. I'm not praying anything harmful over him. I'm praying for them together, that she is the wife he needs and he is the husband she needs, and that their household will work according to the purpose and plan that God has for them together. Hard lesson to learn when you love your children. Because somewhere in my mind, because Shamika and I started so early together, we should finish together. But that would have been my plan, not God's. God gave her somebody for herself, and I'm very thankful for that. Moving on, day 32. Day 32 is an affection day, and I'm just going to hit a few brief highlights here because I am really not going to go into much detail. You will have to read day 32 for yourself. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 3 says, the husband must fulfill his duty to the wife, and likewise also the wife to her husband. Day 32, love meets intimate needs. Here's the thing. We must deal with the intimate needs of our spouse. Far too often, for far too long, we put off the intimate portion of our marriage. Or we little rabbits in the very beginning, and then all of a sudden we ain't got nothing left. Listen, your body does not belong to yourself. My body does not belong to myself, but we now belong to each other. If I have needs, you need to meet them. If you got needs, I need to meet them. Because what happens when we don't meet the needs of our spouses is we then take ourselves outside of this relationship and we get them met somewhere else. Now, let me say this very clearly. This is not talking about for the sake of an illness, for the sake of a, some type of sickness. Perhaps she's on bed rest with your baby and you can't be doing all that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be, because it will be dangerous to the baby. Maybe he was in an accident of some kind and he is now on, broken bones and all these things, and nothing can be going on at this moment. That is not what I'm talking about. That's an extreme case. And in that case, what we do is we pray that the Lord would keep us. But here's the other thing, and I don't think we think about this. There are more ways to be intimate than intercourse. You gotta go into the vault. You gotta tap in the Holy Spirit. Forget the vault. You gotta tap in the Holy Spirit, and you have to say, Holy Spirit, can you show me how to make love to my spouse without intercourse? There's got to be something that we can do together that is going to provide the intimacy that they need, or the intimacy that I need, because at this one moment, or for whatever this period of time is, we cannot engage in intercourse. So there is no time when I should say no to my spouse. Now, of course, women, we have times of the month. Now, whatever your practices are during those times are not my business. We were raised that was nothing. Just get your body together. Let all the things be the things. Okay. But after that, get right back on it, girls. Get right back on it, girls. Some of us who were raised in the church, we were taught that sexuality and enjoying intimate relationships with your spouse was wrong. Can I tell you that advice was wrong? There is no, you are supposed to, it is God's gift to a man and a woman, a wife and a husband, spouses together, to enjoy one another in an intimate relationship as often as we want to. Hello? Very good. Yes, we're supposed to enjoy that. He talks about in this section that the same experience we have when we get to the pinnacle of the experience, when you at the top of the mountain and all the heaven and glory is about, that's what it's going to be like when we get to heaven, right? That is what you're feeling at that very moment is what it's going to be like when you get to heaven. That makes me emotional, not the physical part, but to know that this is going to, I'm going to feel this there every day and every minute of the rest of my eternity. Wow. Okay. So if I even want to have a glimpse of what that looks like, can we worship here? Can we worship here? Not worship each other as in, oh, bow down or what. I'm talking about, can we engage in this beautiful situation that God would allow us, and we can worship him for thanking him for giving us each other and giving us the ability to enjoy. He says to enjoy, to satisfy one another, to wrap ourselves around each other, to just have this intimate experience that we're not supposed to have with anybody else. I heard a lady say the other day, she was talking about modest clothing. She says, my body is my husband's best kept secret, and his body is my best kept secret. And that is a very true statement. We're each other's best kept secret. There's no person on no TV, girly movies, whatever. I don't care what they doing. Remember, I told y'all when you out here doing these they putting clips together. This is 2, 3, 4, 7 takes. Child, listen, don't be judging me based on that. I don't have nothing to do with any of that. What I'm telling you is I'm bringing the best of who I am. You're bringing the best of who you are. And because we're at the best of ourselves, that is what heightened the experience. That's the thing that makes it so, all the fireworks and everything. I'm the best that I can be in this one moment. You bring out the best in me. You bring out the best in who I am. I bring out the best in who you are. And when the two best people come together in a place, in a space that God created for himself to be glorified, listen, it ought to be the best you ever seen. Like somebody was, it's the best I ever seen. Instead of saying it's the best I ever had, it was it's the best I ever seen. It should be the best. And it really should. Don't deprive your spouse. Some of us have perpetual headaches every day. Just got a headache, child. Lord have mercy. Why are you so passionate, Shakima? Because honestly, there are some things I want to experience before I go see Jesus. I mean, really, I want to experience what the word says I can with my spouse. I do. I really do. I am 48 years old. Once women get in their 40s, honey, they body just be like, okay, hello. And I've been single for a very long time. So it has been a skinny minute, about as skinny as I am right now. Okay. But I want to experience that. And I think the part that some married people forget is there are people like me who do not believe in premarital relations. I just don't believe it's God's best for me. And because it's not God's best for me, I can't indulge. But because you have committed your life to someone, you can indulge whenever you feel like it. So to take that opportunity for granted hurts my feelings, because I would love to have a spouse and I don't have one. Sometimes I think married people forget that part. Oh, I don't even want to be married. I just rather be by myself. Can I tell you, this is not for everybody. This is not for the faint of heart. You got to understand what God says about you, and you got to be steadfast, unmovable on the word he gave to you. God has promised me marriage, and I'm standing on that. And I don't have a man in sight. Ain't nobody on the horizon. Except Uncle JoJo, and he about 80 if he a day. Please stay out of my inbox if you 80. Stay out of my inbox if you 60. Stay out of my inbox if you over 52, because I have a number. Please stay out of my inbox. And I don't even get a whole lot of people in my inbox. I really don't. I very rarely, very rare. Because I think my commitment to the Lord is a lot. Anywho, moving over. You're going to have to read that for you. I just wanted to give a little bit of thought pattern. Now, day 32, because tomorrow night we will not meet. There's no meeting on live. It's a closed session for ladies only who want to be a part of that private session. But for day 32, this is in prep. If it is possible, try to initiate intimacy with your husband or wife today. Do this. You initiate. You. Do this in a way that honors what your spouse has told you or implied to you about what they need from you intimately. Ask God to make this enjoyable for both of you, as well as a path of greater intimacy. Now, let me say this. I'm saying this because it's true for me, but I also believe that it is true for a lot of people. There are two things that I will not do. I will not, because it says that he told you, she told you, or implied. I will not invite anybody else into my marriage. We ain't open. We ain't seeing other people. We don't want to experiment. None of that. Nope. No. And I'm not going to be looking at no girly movies with you. I can't do all that stuff on there. So don't even try to get my eyes looking at all of that, because I can't do none of that. Sorry. I'm flexible in my schedule, but that's as far as I'm flexible. I can't be doing, I can't. She getting paid a lot more than I am. Nope. I had somebody ask me one time, you want to watch a little flick with your man? I am not going to watch a flick. I might flick you, but I am not. Now that's me. Whatever people need to do that does not grieve the heart of God, you have to have a courageous conversation about that. Women in the church, you are not dirty. It is not wrong to desire your man. Please desire your man. Text him at work and say, I'm desiring you. Right? Whatever. Please do. It's not wrong. We've been taught it was wrong for a very long time, and it's kept some of us in our box. Get outside of your box a little, right? Listen to what he wants. Listen to what he's saying, because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. While you may be doing some things, there could be a few other things that he or she would enjoy that will enhance the experience. I know some people are very anti certain things. And if you are in agreement with that, very good. Whatever we're in agreement with, we're in agreement with, right? Okay. So that's day 32 in a little bitty of a nutshell. Don't forget, for those of you who want the closed session, send me an email, firstloveministries@wilson@gmail.com. Also attach your picture, because I will need to be able to see who is joining my meet. You know what I'm saying? I cannot. It's more than it's. God did not call me to that ministry, so I'm gonna have to decline. And I believe that, again, you have to have lots of conversations before you get married. Lots of conversations before you get married, because a lot of people just want to get married so they don't burn. Well, child, I've been single 14 years. I can wait a few more days. Let's talk. Let's have it out. Let's just talk about all the things, because anywho, y'all, been on here long enough. I'm going to pop off. I'm going to go to bed because I have had a birthday weekend and I'm tired. Tomorrow is my actual birthday. And so I will be celebrating at work with my students. We are playing games tomorrow, STEM games. All of my students are going to be civil engineers tomorrow. So anywho, there it is. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Like the video on both platforms. Don't forget, I'm doing a giveaway tomorrow for memberships. That's going to be on YouTube only. So if you haven't entered and you're interested, go over and enter for that. If you haven't entered, go over there. Read 31 and 32, y'all. Give it your best effort. I'm promising you it's going to be amazing. I love you guys, and I'm going to see you Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Bye now. I'm sending out links for the meet in the morning. The links will go out tomorrow by noon. Probably earlier, but by noon for